But yeah, Cheat Engine's a nice free program that can do a lot of cool stuff. So first you have to connect to the process. So you just click this and select the process. In this case it was the skull.exe or whatever. So usually the game name is pretty obvious. Then you'll have to do an initial scan. So in this case I input my default starting number. Like you want to be able to work with the number in question if possible. Like you want to find a spot in the game where you can modify the number you're trying to modify naturally, so that way you have ways to change it, so you get to narrow down the number, basically. In this case, the actual number, since I made it so high, well, let's make it lower again. Let's make it lower again, and so it'll be a good example there. Okay, so we've got 953 dark quartz, right? So we're gonna do this again. So 953, I enter that because I know the exact value. Sometimes you won't know the exact value. There's other things you can do, like bigger than, smaller than, between, stuff like that. But if you know the starting value, that's when it's easiest. Sometimes you'll need to change the value type here. Like I think GameMaker uses doubles for most stuff. You could also just do all, and that'll give you that'll make sure you find it, but it'll also have a lot more noise that's less useful. But so we'll do all, like, just in case, like, sometimes you would need to. So we'll do a first scan. 80 volt. And then it will find a certain, and like if you're doing all, it takes longer too. If you do like a smaller thing, it'll be faster. So you see all these ones have decimals. Like the ones with decimals aren't going to be relevant to us. But it says right here we found 1366. So there's actually this many different numbers in memory that like are associated with this game somewhere that are about 953. So it's kind of funny how much stuff there. Sometimes you can just do stuff like move around, go to a different screen or something like that, and it'll change some of the values. Like we could just do a next scan of just the same number real quick. In this case, it didn't actually change any of them. Sometimes that can eliminate stuff, but if you have a good way to actually change it, so in this case we do, we can spend 10 dark crystal here, so we're at 943 now. So set that to 943 and then do a next scan. And now there's only one value. So this was actually just super straightforward, super easy. Again, sometimes it'll be harder than that, but the bigger the numbers there are and the more often that you can modify them in game, that's the stuff that's going to make it easiest to narrow down. But so we'll just click that to bring it down here. And so this is essentially like a spot in your RAM where the value of your dark crystal amount is stored. And now I can just change this value here. And as you can see in game, voila. Dalek. Yeah, like if you're dealing with like zeros and ones and twos, those are going to be a lot harder to find because in memory here, like I can show that even real quick, right? Like if we do a new scan, let's even narrow it down to like a 4 byte. But like if we're just looking for ones, there's 8 million ones in memory right now. So turns out code uses a lot of ones and zeros for data for a lot of different stuff. But as soon as you can get bigger numbers or start modifying it more, that's when it gets best. Sometimes it's an unknown value, and you like that can definitely be a thing where it's like, okay, how you would often approach that, maybe you have a health value that you don't actually know the exact amount of or something, because the game is too rude to actually give you the exact number. What you'd probably do there is you would start with like a unknown initial value here. So you would just bring up everything, and then you would go get yourself hurt real quick, and then you would like look for the values gone down. and then you would just move around and don't get hurt, and then you say value unchanged, and then you get hurt again and you say value gone down. So you can do stuff like that to start narrowing it down with the different types of searches there. And yeah, that gives you lots of flexibility to cheat if you want to, or to skip meta progression, or to test stuff. Like, it's been super valuable for testing stuff. Like, back when Binding of Isaac Rebirth came out, I was kind of the main person testing stuff in that and finding the true values for all the new items and stuff. And Ketogin was invaluable for that. The number of cats in memory. That's probably not just a single value we can increase, Dalek. Although, given that there's a bunch of identical cats walking around, it's possible that's a thing. And it's possible there is a cat value that you could increase and fill the screen with cats. It really depends on how it's coded. I would say that's moderately unlikely, but I would say that it's not impossible. We don't really have any way to, like, change the number of cats at this point, or, like... Maybe if we hadn't upgraded the castle yet, you could maybe do some shenanigans there to try to narrow it down, but, yeah. Anyway, there's just a nice little quick overview on how to use Cheat Engine. There's certainly things that can get more complicated. One other thing I should note about it real quick is that, like, this won't stay. Like, if I close the game and restart, this is gonna be a different address, so it's not like I can just copy down this address and find that same value again. There's ways to do that, but that becomes a lot more complicated. You basically need to find what's called a pointer in the code, and it will direct you to where the memory is going to be, even when you reload it and stuff like that. But most of the time you don't need to do that, and it's easy enough just to refind as needed and stuff.